Hello and welcome to Do What Dad Does. This is William, and I'm going to share my original salvation story and tell you how I came to become a Christian. And it was back in 1990, and it was in November of 1990, and so I was born in 64, so that was about 26 years old. And I had just separated from my wife. I was married just the year before, in April of 1989. But I wasn't saved. I was a Catholic and didn't have much of a foundation in life, pretty immature. And it was just about a year, the marriage wasn't working. And I had married her with a small child. And there's one picture in the media section here with him and I driving our pickup truck we had back then. And he was great. And I loved him. And I missed him when things weren't working out. But we were hurting, and we separated, and I moved back to my parents' home in Walton Hills, Ohio at the time. And it was a beautiful house, a tri-level with a wonderful backyard, built-in pool. I did a lot of work out in that yard with my dad, but it was fun, and it was good. I look back and really cherish it now. But I had moved back. I had separated and moved out of the home that we were living in, and was living with my parents, and was young and hurting, and didn't have any direction, really didn't have anywhere to turn. Tried drinking, tried smoking dope, but of course that didn't work. That just was a band-aid on a very big problem. So I wanted to kill myself. Simple as that. I just wanted to commit suicide, honestly. And I was thinking of ways to do it. And it's funny, some of them. I mean, you're so stupid when you're that stressed out and that worn out and that emotional. But there was a 480 bridge. It was called the I-480 bridge. It was like a highway interstate bridge in Garfield Heights, Ohio, near where I was living. And I said I was going to jump off it. This bridge, I think I looked it up, is like, I think 280 feet tall. Goes into a valley. There's a little Ohio canals right below it, and roads and all kinds of stuff. But I thought, if I jump off, what if I live? I mean, stupid stuff. Like, what if I don't die? What if I just crippled, maimed, vegetable, and then I'm a real pain, more of a royal pain to somebody? But I was thinking like that. And then I said, I never owned a gun, never had shot a gun. Maybe once I did at a camp or something, but I thought, I'll get a gun and shoot myself in the head or something. And then I thought, well, what if I don't die? And I thought, what if I try to hang myself and somebody finds me and I don't die? And what if I cut my wrist and try to bleed to death and don't die? And what if I overdose on... I mean, it was just all very warped thinking. But the enemy was trying to take me out. He really was. So I thought that through. But what happened along the way there is, I don't know, I'll have to ask my brother Mark, but I started talking to him, and maybe it slipped out that I said, like, I don't want to live anymore. The pain of being separated from, at that time, my wife and her child, our child, it was so deep, it was so traumatic that I said, I don't want to live in this pain anymore, and it's the only solution that seemed to make sense. And I pondered all these thoughts, but anyway, maybe my brother caught wind of it, or he just saw my discouragement and my give up kind of attitude in life, and he started talking to me, and he had gotten saved about a year before, so was a Christian. And I saw some changes, but not enough to really wow me and want it. But he had said, like, oh, okay, so you want to die, or you're going to die, or think you're going to die, or kill yourself, or whatever. Where are you going to go? And I said, I want to go to heaven. He goes, are you sure? How do you know? What if you get there and he says, why should I let you in, or something? I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But he put this doubt in my head. And dang it, if it just didn't stay there, and I started to wonder. And I gave him all the Catholic excuses that I learned and memorized and applied, and he started sharing the truth of the Bible and what it really says compared to some of the Catholic upbringing, and there became this doubt. And so I was so screwed up even worse. So thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. That's what brothers are for. But it was well worth it. I mean, it was so worth it. So really, thank you, Mark. Thank you for what you did. And I just found myself at such a terrible place because the pain was so bad I didn't want to live. Now the doubt and the fear and the wonder where I was going to go if I did die was so overwhelming. I was just so screwed. I was stuck right in the middle. I couldn't live and I couldn't die because I started to wonder if I really would get to heaven based on what he said, because I had pretty good respect for the Bible back then. I really did. So one day in November of 1990, I'm sitting in my parents' backyard, and it's northern Ohio, and it's fall, so the leaves had pretty much come down. And again, my parents' backyard was absolutely gorgeous. Not just the pool, but their land went back a little ways and butted up right against the Metro Park. So it was all trees, real deep, and the sun was setting in the evening, and it was coming down through the trees, and it was a nice setting. It was quite peaceful. And for the first time in, 26 years, I cried. One tear out of my pain. That's how hard of a heart I had gotten in life. And I just said to God, I just threw my hands up in the air, looked up at the sky and said something like, "Hey God, I know you're out there, way over there or way up there. Here I am. My life's a mess. It sucks. I hate it. And I don't know what to do." I said, "If you want it, here it is. You can have it. I don't want my life anymore. I can't live. I can't die. I don't know what to do. But if you want it, here it is." And that was my salvation prayer. Not too much by the book, was it? But I tell you what, it worked. So I sat there for a little longer, taking in the moment, trying to be at peace, but really never had any peace at all. Zero. Though I faked it. I really did. But I walked back inside, went to sleep, and the very next morning I woke up and I just had this sliver of a thought and this possible idea that I just might make it through this. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I wasn't in control. Oh my gosh, I wasn't in control. So I mean, you're talking about wanting to die when you lose control, it's over. But I did. I woke up with this sliver of hope that I hope I can get my marriage back. I really did hope I could get it back. But I wanted it for the wrong reasons. But I had this hope that if for some terribly bad reason it doesn't come back together, I just might make it. I might end up divorced, but I'll make it. Somehow, some way, I'm going to make it. And that little sliver of hope was enough to just put a little wind in my sail and a little breath in me to go on to another day. So eventually, like a few days or a week or two later, I tried to go to my brother's church. Funny story. Little village church in Valley View. Valley View Village Church is what it was called. And wonderful people there. Absolute best people on earth there at that church that I first met. So I didn't tell my brother. I just drove there one Sunday. But I was late. Not too punctual at that time either. But I pulled in the parking lot late. Little village church, maybe 25 cars, 30 cars. And I was late. And I could see that the service started and just hear it a little bit or something, or see no one was around, and it was like 10 after 11, started at 11 or something. So I just kept going right through the parking lot. I said, I ain't going in there now. I'm not walking in there having everyone stare at me and then judge me and look at me. So I came back the next week, came a little earlier, but was still late, like 2 minutes after 11 or 5 minutes after 11, and they started on time. And I got out of the car, went into the lobby in the back, through the doors, and got to the church doors at the end of the hall and turned around. I got closer, but that didn't work either because I was still late. And it was a small church. It was maybe 100 people. So I went home a couple days later, maybe that week, called my brother and said, "Hey, Mark, what do you think if I go to church with you? Be my whoopee, my safety blanket, my comfort that I can walk in with them." He said, "Sure." So I ended up catching up with my brother, Mark, and we went to church together in Valley View Village Church. And I wish I could say I lived happily ever after that point, but I got it together. It was a great church to start with, wonderful people, still some friends I have today. My very best friend, Keith, I met there, and it worked out pretty good. So that's my salvation story and how I got rolling. And I'm going to tell it again many times along the way because it's a good one.